Yep, there we go. All right, welcome back for another video, guys. Thanks for joining me. All right, let's talk for a second. So, but today what we're going to be doing, we'll just get this out of the way. We're going to be fixing, which is kind of like an oddly common problem on a Colorado ZR2. If you're going to see it, mine's back there somewhere. First, what we're going to do, I'm going to turn this thing around, jack it up, and take the wheel off, and I'll show you what's going on with it. Alright, so issue here. I don't know what angle we're going to be able to see this. Hold on. Yeah. CV boot destroyed. Bolt. No bolt. That's the wrong bolt, by the way. Back on the workbench here. Alright, so as you saw by that, and probably the title of the video, CV boot torn. So, a little backstory. Here's a new one. A little backstory. Went off-roading a couple weeks ago. I'll link the video up here. Go check that out. Good time, actually. Had a lot of fun. Midway through one of the trails, heard like a weird clunk. And I got out, looked. Nothing looked wrong, right? So, kept going. Clunk stopped. I don't even know if this was the time it happened. Clunk, the whatever weird noise it was, stopped. So, kept going. Went through the trails, stayed there. Couple more hours of off-roading and stuff. I backed into a tree at one point and I have the video here for that one too. The video of me doing the upper control arms, right? I tightened everything back up, did the tie rod sleeve from Peak Suspension, went on our way. Everything was working fine. Get home, day later, I'm like, making a weird noise. It was making a little clunking noise. Let me go check out. Go under, CV boot's torn, and those two bolts that hold in the bottom of the shock, strut, whatever you want to call it, completely missing. That was wedged up further out. So if you were looking, if this is straight up and down, this is like the inside of the vehicle. It was out, like to the outside of the car and wedged in there. So I guess that was the weird ass noise. Thank God it wedged there because I drove 3 hours home like that, I think. And we got home safe and sound. So fast forward 2 weeks later, I guess. We have the CV boot. I ordered new hardware. Gonna throw these in to hold that shock, hold the strut in, because the little like bracket thing that holds that goes on the bottom of the strut, can't find it anywhere. I don't know, on all the GM websites and parts websites and all that stuff, it doesn't show this part anywhere. So I decided, let me just get a bolt, go through with the nut on the top side, hold it in. I shouldn't have to worry about it again. It's a nylon locking nut. I will probably put Loctite on it just to be safe at this point, but gonna change the CV boot out. Little disclaimer, first time ever doing this. I watched the video actually by Eric the Car Guy. It looks very easy. The main part is just the mess that you have to deal with all the grease. And then I assume these little these little rings that hold the boot on, probably gonna be a little annoying to get on, but these don't look like it needs a tool. I don't think it does, because it kind of looks like it just slides on and like latches like that. So we'll see. If I have a feeling it's gonna be not going to be as easy as that, especially because this almost feels plasticky instead of rubbery, so probably not much give on it. Gonna figure it out together, but let's get cracking on this. It's all the same tools you need, basically, to take all the same tools you'll need to do the Peak Suspension coilover upgrade or do an upper control arm. Only difference is we're probably not removing the strut completely. We're just gonna undo the bottom bolts from it. Gotta do the tie rod and we gotta take the knuckle off. We're gonna have to undo the end of the axle, which I believe is a 36 millimeter. I put it on there, it seems a little loose, but might try to send it with a 36 mil. I do have replacement nuts that came with the upper control arms, if anything. So let's get cracking on this. And like I said, wish me luck. All right, let's talk about how we got to this spot right now. A lot of stuff in the way. All right, so I wound up taking, I think you probably have to take the whole knuckle off. You might be able to get away with pulling the axle out if you bend stuff in the right way, but I figured let me just take the whole thing off. So caliper had to come off, 2 18mm bolts on that. The ABS sensor, it was a T30, I think, Torx bit. T30 Torx bit. Got those strapped up out of the way. You never want to just hang your caliper by the brake line, so I have it bungee tied up. 18mm bolt on that. The bottom of the knuckle on the end of the lower control arm is a 27mm bolt. 21 on the tie rod. Stock, this is either a 13 or a 15. You got to come out from underneath. And for the sway bar, top of the 15, bottom of the 13. Then drop it, lower it with that. If you need to, you might have to hit it with a hammer. If you need to hit it with a hammer, put the nut back on and then hit it. With this one, you could probably get away with just jacking it up, and it will pop it out of the knuckle. Knuckle's over here, and now we got to work on taking this apart. This is the messy part, so I don't have a glove on, but these rings don't look. This ring look like it'll be the easy-ish one. That one you're supposed to use a special tool for it, but I think I have an idea of a different tool to use, so I'm not sure on that one yet, but we'll get to it. If anything, I'll run to AutoZone, see if they have it. But so far, I think we're good. I obviously didn't film much because I wasn't sure how messy it was going to get, and I didn't want to keep touching the camera and stuff, so this is going to be the part where I'll probably gonna cut these bands off, try to separate it, then I'm going to try to clean everything nice, re-grease, put the stuff back on, then reassemble. End up taking it out. Alright, now I'm gonna not clean this out completely because that grease looks pretty much the same as that grease. This isn't that old, it hasn't been open for long, and I haven't driven it once I found it was open, so just gonna wind up cutting this open, squirting a ton of that in there. Gonna get this boot on. I feel like I'm gonna have a problem getting these rings on, but this is a step we're going to have to deal with. Let's talk about this replacement boot and the clamp band thingies. I don't remember how much I filmed here because it was getting really greasy. I was dripping grease all over the place, so I was like, let me just get this done. So again, watch that video from Eric the Car Guy if you're very interested on how to do it. I just tried to go over it all. It's not that hard actually. I spent more time trying to cut corners and then having to do it the correct way anyway than just doing it the correct way. And also I didn't have the right tools to put the clamp band things on, so maybe get the right tools. So it's on. This clamp on the outer one, as you see, I took like a little chunk out of it over here. What I basically did was get a tool and grab that spot and that spot right there and clamp it together to get this lip over that. I was originally using these needleless pliers. That's what happened to the end of it. Wound up going to Harbor Freight looking for a tool specifically for this. They didn't have it. AutoZone was right off the block, went there, they didn't have it. So I wound up getting these little needleless vice grip guys and this one, but I didn't use this one. What I did, put the vice grip on it in that spot and that spot. Then I took a clamp like that, as you saw with the other piece. Pretend that's on there. Then I took a clamp and then I started took the clamp and I started squeezing it shut. And eventually I was able to get those tabs on. Then release, you're done. I don't know what the correct tool is for that, but look that one up, I guess. Or just do this. And then the inner one, this one, I'm not completely sure it's tight enough, so I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. But once again, didn't have the tool for this one either. If you have a tile pliers guy, which look like this, the funny thing is, when I saw the tool in the video, I was like, it kind of reminded me of that, so I was like, let me try this thing. Worst case scenario, it snaps, it cuts it, and I just have to buy a new one. In the meantime, I would probably just put a little like hose clamp on it, because in that spot where it is, I don't think it's going to give too much random rotational issue to like tear anything or cause like any imbalance or vibration. So for the meantime, when the new one was coming, I would have just put that on. Did the same thing with that. Got to clamp down and put it on there, then use the clamp again to clamp it shut. It's not as tight as this one. That's the factory one, but we're tight. I might try to do a little bit more, but I might just leave it and just keep an eye on it, and hopefully no grease comes out. If grease comes out, I'll tighten it up more. Sounds about right. Now it's time to throw this axle back in. Gonna get some gloves on. All right, all good. Took the truck for a test drive around the block. No noises, that's a plus. Back in business. So, let's talk for a second about when you may want to do this yourself. So the CV boot was about 60 bucks, maybe 80. I think it was between 60 and 80 bucks. That's for the boot itself. A new axle, I believe, is $200, give or take. If this is a thing for you and your truck is no longer under warranty, or you don't like going to the dealership for silly things, especially since I have a lift on the truck already, I didn't feel like dealing with any of the, oh, we're not going to cover your under warranty, blah, 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 and then charge me whatever the hell they want to try to charge me, which I wouldn't let them. If you're mechanically inclined at all, you've done any lift install kit, diff drop, anything like that on your truck, you'll be able to do this. Just need the correct tools and a little bit of patience. What I did, I wasted time trying to do less steps, and then I wound up doing it the right way anyway. I tried to dismantle the axle on the car, which wasn't working. That wasted like 20 minutes until I decided to pull the whole axle. I didn't have the right tools after I did it to put the bands on, so that wasted probably about an hour between me fiddling with tools and then eventually just going to the store. Still didn't get the right thing, but then I got other tools that made it work. Have the right tools for the job. Now, on the other hand, I'm not completely sure if they're the same, but it's not even a bad idea to just get the axle, swap the axle, then also get a CV boot, put a new CV boot on. So then you have a spare axle. If this ever happens to you again, you could always just swap it out and not have any downtime and not have to wait 2.5 weeks like I did just to get the CV boot. So I did get new taillights for the truck. This is a quick update. I didn't film installing them because they're taillights and it took like 2 minutes to install. But let's look at them. These are the Spider taillights. They have a smoked one and then like a kind of clear one, and these are the red LED. Just see how they look for you. It's not dark enough to get a good view of them now. I did change the third brake light to Not crazy about that one, but good news for the truck. The front suspension is getting an overhaul again. I did order the King's front shocks. I don't know when those will come in. I've heard from people that on the website it said 2 to 6 or 2 to 8 weeks lead time, and I have heard people say it took them almost 11 weeks to get them. So hopefully it's not that long for me to get them. Even if it does or doesn't, whatever, we'll eventually get them. It'll be awesome. Have the Kings, then wheels and tires eventually, and it's pretty much it. The little update and slash little news of the truck is done. You saw the CV boot. I didn't film too much of it, but I kind of explained what to do. There is a better video, like I said earlier. That one, go check that out. You could do this yourself, not too bad. Start to finish, I mean, it took me a little while because, like I said, I wasted a lot of time just trying to cut corners, and it wound up costing me more time to do it. Don't cut corners, get the right tools. You'll be done in probably an hour. You could probably do this. Hope this was somewhat informative. Hopefully anyone that had this issue, because it's somewhat of a common issue, I think, on the ZR2s specifically. If you're out of warranty, you could do it yourself. Don't even pay a mechanic if you know how to do anything. Do it yourself. See you later. Peace out. Off-road things and off-road.